I thought you had a
It's
mind hack
over.
ability. You didn't know she was gonna do that?
You may be right.
What?
Diana, take this. Put it in.
Wow,
Your bluebird too.
that's like B-movie level sound effects.
Yeah, but why did neither of them do it in the first place?
It's
We
Yeah, I'm not too
solved
sure.
we solved the puzzle and they just stood there and did nothing for hours.
Well, they hugged.
Key items were set.
They did nothing.
Executing force quit.
Yeah, why isn't he using mind hack on anybody?
10
Because it's just gonna blow up anyways.
They
Yeah.
just kicked his ass.
What?
Oh no! The hell? What is this?
Force quit.
Is that your laughing face?
I got bad
Smile.
news.
What's with that announcement?
I got bad news. You can't shift.
I explain. This shelter will soon explode. You've worked so hard, only to turn on this facility's self-destruct mechanism.
Sean, access the central control computer.
It's no use. Once the force quit program has been activated, there is no possible way for you to
It's no
reverse
use.
Take this.
What can we do?
it. I will tell you two good things. First, I suggest checking behind the bar counter.
No!
What
Gab.
is it gonna be? No!
Gab.
No!
Gab's been.
Did you kill Gab?
Why?
Yes, with the shotgun you're holding.
Oh my